This is a quick review of the Terava Jääkäripuukko knife, available through Veristelinka in Finland. This particular knife is the Jääkäripuukko 140. There are three versions of it in terms of length. You have the Jääkäripuukko 85, the 110, and the 140, each referring to the length of the blade in terms of millimeters. The 140 being a 140 millimeter long blade, which is about 5.5 inches. It has a leather sheath. I have to tell you, they're a bit cheeky because their leather sheath is available separately to buy, so it does push the price up a little bit. What I will say is it's a worthwhile sheath to get. In terms of the full package, in terms of the knife, the sheath, the postage, the tax, etc., you're looking, depending on which model you're buying, between 50 and 100. It's available in carbon steel, or as in the case of this one, stainless steel. I preferred the stainless steel one because I was looking for something that could handle a marine environment. I have to tell you, you may have to look out for it if you want them, because as a general rule, they have the carbon ones in most of the time, not always, they do run out. The stainless steel ones are less frequently available, so you may have to spend a bit of time looking for one. There were two things about this knife that I didn't like before I bought it. One was it didn't have something to attach a ferro rod to it, and the other thing was it comes with a Scandi grind with a secondary bevel, and I prefer the Scandi grind without the secondary bevel, but I knew about these things in advance and I dealt with it all the day it arrived. The sheath is leather. It's riveted here and here, and you have a popper here, and that popper, that's all you have to do, and then that fastens it. In the fastened position, you can pull the knife out, but you're probably going to damage the sheath. At least that's what their advice is on their own website, because it is actually a very strong thing. Even with the popper opened, it's not just going to fall out. You need to have quite a bit of force. Also, it's a dangler. You will notice I put a Ranger band on mine because I resolved the issue of it not having something for a ferro rod by putting a Ranger band on and then doing this to the back. So here I've got a couple 3 meters of survivor cord woven as a Cobra style weave lanyard attached to the bottom lanyard hole. And then attached to this ring, I have a 4.5 inch ferro rod. I have a sharpening rod. And actually, underneath all of that, I've managed to stick this, which is fishing hooks, a small saw blade, a couple of arrow points, and a snare lock available from Readyman, and this is their dog tag. Also, I have a large eye sewing needle in here, so it gives me some good redundancy in the back of this. Now obviously, if I'm doing bushcraft in the field, I have to tell you I'm going to have all of these kinds of things with me, but again, this is redundant backup. As we used to say in the military, 2 is 1 and 1 is none. So this gives me a redundant backup, so if anything goes wrong with any of my other kit, I'm good to go. The actual knife itself, I'll clip that and remove it. The handle is a form of rubber. It feels a lot like silicone, but it's quite hard, it's quite grippy, and it's very comfortable in the hand. The grind, as I say, had a Scandi grind with a secondary bevel. Well, I took out all my sharpening things when it arrived, and before the day was out, I had a beautiful Scandi grind with no secondary bevel on it, because that's how I prefer it. The 4 differences between this and the carbon steel version. The carbon steel version has a coating on it, so the edge on the back of the spine has a slight bevel to it. You can still fire a ferro rod with it, but it's a slightly different angle. Beyond that, this weighs a few grams less, and it's also a little bit lower on the Rockwell hardness scale. This has a Rockwell hardness of 57, whereas the carbon steel version has a Rockwell hardness of 59. It's a small difference. If that's a problem for you, go for the carbon version. but also because obviously this being stainless steel, if you use it in a marine environment somewhere near the seaside, for example, or on board a boat or something of this nature where salt water might be an issue, and in my life that is occasionally the case, I felt the stainless steel was the better option. And in fact, marine environment is exactly why to make the stainless steel version of the Jääkäripuukko. In terms of strength and durability, you've got, I think that's about 4mm spine. This thing will take batoning like nobody's business. In terms of durability and functionality, you can get a functional poco knife for bushcraft use for under 50, but it won't have anything like this level of durability. The only thing that's comparable to it that I would say is anyways near the same price point is made by Mora, and that's their Garberg knife. But in head-to-head comparisons between the Jääkäripuukko and the Mora Garberg, the Jääkäripuukko has earned the nickname the Mora Garberg killer because it is actually just a little bit better in terms of durability and functionality as far as I can make out. I don't actually have a Garberg to compare it with myself, so I'm going on other people's reviews there. But it's certainly comparable and slightly less expensive, although it's more expensive than it used to be. It's still in quite a convenient price range. Again, with the sheath and the knife, not the extra accessories I added, but with the sheath and the knife, you're looking at between, depending on which model and which steel, between 50 and 100. Now, can you get something that is as durable and as functional as this for bushcraft? Yes. If you're going to get something that is as durable and as functional in a different brand, you're probably looking at between 200 to 400. There are some knives out there made from the super steels that are way superior to this, I suppose, technically, but you're looking at between 500 and 1,000. So that's kind of a lot of money. I mean, you can actually spend £1,000 to buy a puukko knife, which, I gotta be honest with you, it's not going to be that much better. The manufacturers refer to this as a no bullshit knife for good reason. It is designed to be functional and durable and last a lifetime.